Alright, so welcome to my first video in Florida. I got a shipment in and we're going to do something. It kind of looks like we're doing some mileage adjustment here, but that's not actually what's going on. We're going to add trans temp. So y'all are going to be the first people to see how to do this, because as far as I know, nobody else adds trans temp to these. This is an experimental thing. I worked on one with trans temp recently and finally was like, all right, I'm going to figure this out because I know nobody else is doing it. So I got my do-it-yourself EEPROM programmer already wired up. We're going to switch over to the other screen here in a second and go ahead and just flash it with an HD dump, which is going to be 100 mile an hour with trans temp. But before we do that, just show you real quick the parts you need. So you're going to need this little IC right here. And if you can't read it in the video, because sometimes the videos come out blurry, I'll have written in the description too. And then you need a 0.001 microfarad or a nanofarad capacitor. It goes right there. So let's switch over to the other screen and get that done. Now that we have the Arduino hooked up, let's go ahead and open it up in Serial Monitor. Now just ignore the sketch, it's just a random sketch here, but there we go. We have it in the serial monitor, so we're going to first just press 1 and make sure we're getting a good read. So yep, we got a good connection here, so that's a good read, clear output. Let's go ahead and we're going to copy what we want to paste to it. So this is a trans temp dump that I have. I'm not sure how many miles are on it, but we're just going to throw this one on there real quick and take a look and see what happens. So copied it, now let's go paste it. So let's hit 2. It's going to tell us we have 7 seconds and send. Okay, so that should have wrote to it. So let's go ahead and let's click 1 real quick and read it real quick. See if the first couple, yep, it looks like we successfully wrote it. So let's switch back over to the camera and power it up and just see what happens without the little chip on there and the capacitor. Okay, before we move any further in the video, let's go ahead and get this guy off of here. And then we will power it up and just check and see. I've never put an HD dump on there without it having the parts and stuff, so I'm just curious what's going to happen. Maybe we'll fry a board. Who knows? I highly doubt that, though. So let's power it up real quick with that. Let me see where I left my connector. Yep, that's it. Alright, power it up. Sure we don't have anything across the back there. Alright, so this dump we put on here's got 250,000 miles on it, but no big deal. Alright, so one of the parts you're not going to be able to buy, you're just going to have to salvage off of other boards. I mean, maybe you can buy these, I don't know, I've never looked for them, but they're the little seats for the motor. I just salvaged them off of scrap boards I have laying around, so you're going to have to populate that area on there. And then solder them down. And after we solder these down, we'll take this, after we solder these guys down, we'll take this screen off of here. That lead-free solder mixed with that leaded solder makes a kind of funny looking color there. It's like super shiny and then slowly fades into that gray from the lead-free solder. Alright, so we got those on there. Now we need to take this off. So we're going to go ahead and heat up the desoldering tool. And we're going to add a capacitor right there. Alright, off camera, I finished desoldering all of these and took that off. Yeah, you gotta desolder the pins. I guess with the wave solder, when they do it from the factory, it just fills in all of them, populated it or not. So now let's get our IC on here. I'm guessing this thing's a motor driver of some sort. Don't really know. never looked up what it was. I just ordered based on the part number. I couldn't find a data sheet on it. If anybody knows what this is or has a data sheet for it, it'd be pretty interesting and useful. So that way we could find some other replacement for this chip. All right, so there we go. It's marked on there how it goes. A little notch just goes into the hole there. And lines up, and then we just got to put some jumpers here and put that capacitor in. So let's grab the capacitor out. Alright. It's just a little ceramic capacitor. Alright, that's kind of ugly the way it's sitting, but oh well. We're not going for pretty here. We're just trying to figure this out and see if it works. Let's go ahead and solder these two guys down, and then we'll put all those jumpers in and solder them down. Zoom you in a little bit here. Alright. Need some flux there. Let's just put some in all the way across. Conformal coating on over here. It's like half of this got sprayed with conformal coating from like there to there. So those ones are a little bit dirty, but we can touch it up after. I'm really excited to see if these work or not. So let's put those jumpers in. I'm just going to use some of this stuff, just some leftovers from replacing some bulbs earlier. But spared y'all the pain of watching me solder these in. I had a hard time. These were a little bit short for it, so it was really hard getting them in there. I'd suggest just buying a spool of wire for this. Let's go ahead and get this screen back on and give this a good test. But yeah, so all what we had to do is add a jumper to W32 through 35, and then W54 we had to add the IC, and then we had to add the capacitor. That's all there was to doing this. We had to flash the EEPROM, and we've added the seats for the motor. So let's get the screen back on there and give this a test. I guess I haven't mentioned what kind of air core motor this uses. It is the S-marked air core, which is the same one as your speedometer and tachometer. So you just grab one of those. I just pull them out of junk clusters from the junkyard and stuff like that. We're just soldering back down the screen, and then we'll give it a test. Probably should just test it without the screen on there, but I don't know. I'm feeling lucky today. Hopefully this works. Hopefully I'm not wasting my time here putting the screen back on. Alright, so we got the screen back on there. So let's go ahead and test this thing out. So wipe all of these away. And I just got one. You peel the thing off. These are actually taped on here, so they're a little bit harder to get off than on there. And then I just went ahead and put a S-marked stepper motor there. Let's drop this in. It's kind of weird without it having all the parts. Alright. So that pushes away. There we go. We got that on there. Alright. I'm making a mess dropping stuff. Okay. Move that shit out of the way. Alright. So to test it out, we have power, ground, and our signal coming from the PCM in a box. Alright, and I guess I need to put a, what do you call it, a needle on there. See if I got any laying around here. Here we go. There's one. Disconnect this that way. If it is working, should go to the home position there, and we pop this on there. Alright, so screen's still working, and it does have power. Let's put that on. And I think we're gonna have to reboot it. Alright. Let's see. Oh, there we go. We have transmission temp moving. Let's check it on here and see if we get proper movement. So there we go. It is a working transmission temp. So how sweet is that? We were able to add trans temp to a 99 to 02 style instrument cluster. So yep, this is sweeping the way it should. It's nice and smooth. So now all what I need to finish this build is to order some of the new inlays. So that's what I'm going to do. If you guys are interested in buying the ICs, I ordered them from UT Source. They are similar to Mauser or Newark Electronics, but they're out of China. Here's their information if you need to contact them. And let's see here. I only ordered 2 of them on this first one because I wanted to ensure they were real, but that's the part right there. So yeah, shout out to them for even having them. They were the only person I could find selling that IC there. Pretty sure it's just a motor driver, but I hope you guys like this video. I hope you learned something new. I'm may not sound it, but I'm super excited to have finally figured this out. I've had multiple requests on these. You can also program the 120 miles an hour versus 100 miles an hour on there, so you could just make all of these 120 mile an hours as you do these modifications. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.